How do you keep track of important information while reading? In this lesson, you will learn how to keep track of the problem and solution by jotting notes as you read. Let's review. The problem is what goes wrong in the story, and the solution is how the problem is fixed or resolved. A common mistake students make when reading is not stopping to think about the story. And when you don't stop to think about the story, oftentimes you miss important information such as the problem or solution. So in this lesson, we're reading The Settlers of Jamestown. And in the first sentence here, I see their journey to the New World was challenging right from the start. So I know that this story is going to tell me some problems since the settlers were facing challenges. So I'm going to set up two sticky notes, one with problems and one with solutions so that I can take notes while I'm reading. So in my reading, I see that the settlers expected to find Native Americans settled. I also see that the area that they had chosen as their new home was a very difficult place to live. So while I'm reading, I'm asking myself questions such as, what are the challenges and what's going wrong? And right away, I see my first problem that I'm going to list, and that is the marshy land that they chose to live on was a very difficult place to live. I'm going to continue reading, and I see that the previous settlers had treated the Native Americans of the New World cruelly, so they were wary of the English. This would also be another problem because the settlers were not getting along with the Native Americans. So under problems, I'm going to add a second problem, and that is that the Native Americans did not trust the settlers. I'm going to continue to read, and I see that the English built a fort around their settlement to protect themselves. Now, this is not a challenge or something going wrong. So I'm also asking myself, how are the challenges being resolved? How are those problems getting fixed? And this is something that they try to do as a solution to their problems. So on my solution sticky note, I'm going to add my first solution, and that is that the English built a fort for protection. In that same paragraph, I see that without any stable crops, many of the men starved. This is going back to the problems, so I'm going to add to that sticky note that the unstable crops equaled many of the settlers starving. In the same paragraph, I see that inside the fort and the river from which they lived became filthy and polluted, so many more men died of disease. And this is something going wrong. So this would be another problem that I would add to the list. And that is that disease from the river was a problem. So in the following paragraph, I'm going to continue reading and looking for problems and solutions. And I see that around this time, a ship from England arrived with a new group of settlers. Although the English and Native Americans still did not have completely peaceful relations, they both decided to help one another. They traded goods, services, and knowledge. So this would be something that is going right. This is a solution. And I would write down for number 2, a ship arrived with goods and men. And also, number 3, Native Americans and settlers began to work together. So in this lesson, I followed 3 steps. First, read and ask, what are the challenges? What's going wrong? Second, ask, how are the challenges being resolved? And third, track your thinking on sticky notes. In this lesson, you have learned how to keep track of the problem and solution by jotting notes as you read.